disgusted by the Canadian Liberal Party, who once again, when faced with a crisis, this time a truckers' protest, instead of dealing with the issues that are being protested, are trying to divide the population based on lies and propaganda. In a country that values freedom and liberty, at least in most provinces, for a Prime Minister to publicly state,
"It's important to underline that close to 90% of truckers in this country are vaccinated, like close to 90% of Canadians. Over the past many months and years now, Canadians have stepped up to protect each other, to protect our frontline workers, to protect our elders, to protect our young people, to protect people like truckers who are putting food on our grocery store shelves. Canadians have stepped up to do the right thing, to protect the freedoms and the rights of Canadians to get back to the things we love to do. We know the way through this pandemic is by getting everyone vaccinated. And the overwhelming majority, close to 90% of Canadians, have done exactly that. The small fringe minority of people who are on their way to Ottawa or who are holding unacceptable views that they're expressing do not represent the views of Canadians who have been there for each other, who know that following the science and stepping up to protect each other is the best way to continue to ensure our freedoms, our rights, our values as a country.
Okay, Mr. Prime Minister, who is the only triple vaxxed person in the world quarantining because he tested positive for COVID. If vaccines are so effective, why are you hiding? But I digress. Unacceptable views? What unacceptable views? Demanding that our rights be restored and that medication not be forced into our bodies? Demanding that we don't get locked down anymore and that we can reopen our businesses? As you stated, we've been compliant. We've followed all the rules, no matter how silly they've been. We've lost millions of dollars and some people lost their family businesses. We were promised that if we got vaxxed, we'd be able to get back to work, and we bought all the lies. All of them. So when some Canadians finally get fed up and decide to protest, espousing a position you disagree with, you call it unacceptable? Who appointed you King of Canada? Master of what's acceptable speech? Last time I checked, we had a Charter of Rights and Freedoms, which, ironically, your father put into law. Should you really be trampling on it? But calling the protesters fringe and acceptable wasn't enough. Early this morning, the hate propaganda started. A picture of a group of people walking with Nazi flags started appearing on left-wing activist Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram accounts. The image is disgusting, but a singular image of a group of people walking with a horrific flag does not represent the entire protest of multiple hundreds of thousands of people. Nor does the video of a couple of people dancing at the grave of the unknown soldier or the horrific attack on the Terry Fox statue, where somebody put a hat and a sign in his hand. The hyperventilation reached a fevered pitch as Liberals fought back and really churned up the propaganda. MP Anthony Housefather posted this. While the right to demonstrate against the policies you disagree with is at the core of democracy, our core right of freedom of expression allows me to express my absolute fear and disgust that symbols of hate are part of the demonstration and that our war memorial and Terry Fox statues are desecrated. Well, at least he acknowledged the right of the protesters to express an opinion, something the Prime Minister didn't do. But in the same breath, he borrowed a page from the American Democrats and used a singular picture, which was widely distributed on social media, but did not really appear in any news reports, to smear everyone opposing views as Nazis. So anybody who had an opposing view, according to Mr. Housefather, and the imagery he's using, is a Nazi. You know, it's a shameful but effective political ploy, if people fall for it. It's akin to what the Democrats and their media tools did to Donald Trump with the added context and misleading good people on both sides quote. Leftist activists still use that quote, even though it's been debunked a billion times. It's still being used. The protest in Ottawa is a fully peaceful event. Were there some nutballs there that did things that shouldn't be done? Well, like every protest, of course. Did they burn down buildings and kill people? Like the BLM riots did? No, they didn't. By the way, the BLM riots didn't warrant a condemnation or even a comment from either MP Anthony Housefather or Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. If you believe in democracy, if you love freedom, then people have the right to protest, dissent, and express their views without being minimized, dismissed, and insulted by the Prime Minister. It's disgusting that Canadians, including the opposition parties, are not only tolerating this behavior from government officials, but are actively placating them. Unfortunately, Canadian politics is becoming more and more like an American politics. And that more dumb COVID regulations will just lead to more anger. And more anger will lead to more rhetoric that the government is doing right now. More divisions in society. The Prime Minister's minions will go out there and protect him and defend him no matter what he says. This will lead, unfortunately, to the end of the country we live in. And that's really the scariest part of it all. I'm Howie Silberger. This is my rant.